Hey everybody, watch this review here with a look at the DC superheroes Mongul. Now, I don't know how his name's actually pronounced because I've never ever heard it pronounced that I'm aware of on a cartoon or so forth, but I like the character. I first learned of him from I think it was an Alan Moore story, or I forget who did it, but I think it was entitled The Man Who Has Everything, where Superman's having a birthday and they come in there and they find that there's this plant on him that's causing him to have hallucinations. But I mean, Mongul's just a pretty kick-ass looking character, besides being he also played a role in the whole Death of Superman saga, where he had one of his I think he was the mastermind behind the whole cyborg Superman, but I can't remember offhand. My entire memory if that's pretty hazy because I've read that so long ago. And I don't think I ever read the entire saga. I think I just read parts of it. But I'm gonna open them up and we're gonna take a look. Just in terms of packaging, it's just a really sort of so-so package, you know. It's not anything I'd really comment on in particular, but let me just pop it open. Alright, I'm just gonna come out and say it. I'm a little underwhelmed here. In all the videos and pictures that I'd seen of the figure, he looked a lot cooler, but when you actually see him in person, he isn't quite the imposing character that once appeared. I still do really like that facial sculpt. It's just the general body which doesn't do it for me. But, you know, if you look at him, one of the big things is he is a pretty large figure. He is a good head over Superman here. I don't know what edition Superman that is though. So I'll compare it against a Spider-Man for people trying to get scale. These Spider-Man figures are all basically the same height. And I assume that everybody probably owns either a first appearance Spider-Man or I don't know why he's so much shorter, but he was an earlier Marvel Legend, I think. But you know, he is a good sized figure. He's probably about 7 inches. I do not have a ruler handy, but let's just say he's about 7 inches. I'll edit it later and just mention what the actual height is, but general things. I don't know what's up with the entire huge amount of texture here and then in paint on the inner sides of the legs, but then it's just a really generic, bland look on the outside. I mean, I don't have a huge amount of experience with the character himself, just because I read he was in maybe 3 or 4 comic stories I've read, and I don't recall ever seeing him in any of the cartoons or anything, but I mean, overall I do like the character of Mongul, but I just don't think this figure is really all that great looking. Although, you know, it does capture the whole bulk very well, and the size. I played around with the shoulder joint a bit during that little undetermined break, but I can't seem to loose. Oh my god. There's like dust here. I noticed that with one of the other for the Green Lantern I had, but I think the way these things are set up, it's just that they don't, like the joints kind of grind. There's also looks to be a paint defect on the back here. I don't know. I can't get his shoulder back down, but I mean, ideally you have a full 360 motion when it is working, and you also have a full 360 when he twists his arm all the way there. And single joint elbow doesn't give a whole amount, but even if it did have a double joint, just from the huge biceps here, it wouldn't go all that far. Also, I hate how that extends so far out. It looks like Flash, but Flash not being the character, Flash being the term for when you buy like a package of something with some plastic hanging out. He has an ab/diaphragm joint. It does go up and down a bit. I would assume that you'd probably want to keep him at full height as much as possible, just to get the imposing look for whatever you're trying to do with him, whether you're using him in a diorama or so forth. Leg has this, what I believe to be the standard DC level of articulation. It will go a certain degree forward, a certain degree back, then it twists out. But because of his belt, it won't go out as far as it can go. Single joint knee, but it looks like a double joint because of the piece here. Very clever trick. The leg foot does adjust at the ankle a little bit, but not a tremendous amount. I mean, overall, it just strikes me that he's a somewhat bland figure, although it's really, well, I mean, there's a good amount of detail here. But, you know, there's just parts of the paint that don't thrill me, and just the overall effect, I was, like, expecting a lot more, but I guess I might have gone in a little bit not as informed as I could be, possibly, or something, but, you know, I still like this figure. I think I paid about 10 or 12 for him, new including shipping, which I assume is probably a good price at this point. I don't know what he originally retailed for. There's a defect up there at the shoulder too, if you'll notice. It looks like a piece of plastic's either melted or I don't know if something blew out, but he also came with a diorama. I know that a few people have commented on that they don't use these dioramas. I probably won't either. I might save the diorama. I won't save the packaging. The packaging's pretty bland. I might save the backboard just for a reference chart in case I want to get any of the other ones in the line. I mean, because I do not own a Supergirl, and I do not own Darkseid. I don't know if I want to own either one, but the black suit Superman looks pretty hot. I recently picked up a blue suit variant of a black suit Superman, if that makes any sense, but it's from a I think it's from the Calabac wave. I don't remember offhand. I'd have to look. I got its whole bunch of figures mint in package, and I've got to go through all of them at some point, but you know, that's just my overall look and opinion and so forth at him. You know, if you like the character, it's probably a solid buy. Otherwise, I don't think he's that great, personally, but I mean, I don't have a ton of DC experience for their figures, but you know, this is just my honest opinion.